I'm friends with people who do influencing. I'm friends with people who do other stuff like that. But if they only show B-roll, it's all bullshit. If they're showing, like, if you've not done, I swear to God, if you've not done 8 figures in sales and e-commerce, you can teach some things, but you can't teach consistency and scale. That's the biggest thing. I would not follow off these people where they're offering that. If they're offering mentorships of $500 a month, I'm not going to call with you an hour a week for $500.
It's not worth your time.
It's not worth my time. So like, how can that make sense if they're doing $200,000 a month? Like, how does that make sense?
How did you find the right team? Because I think people looking to scale, I think the hardest thing to do is find good staff, right? So
dumb it down, make it so retarded where it's like, you're not, like, for example, I had 8 translators. All they did was use Google Translate, moved it from English to 8 different countries. That's the only job that they did. I had one job that they only wrote copy. And for the last 2 years, they're writing the copy, I was reviewing their copy. And they did over 200 products, my main copywriter. And then he became kind of a manager, and then we had 2 copywriters underneath them.
Welcome to the Nomadic Closer Podcast, where the world is your office. We're here to help salespeople and entrepreneurs level up, break free from the 9-to-5, and live the location-free lifestyle. Each week, join us for real-life experiences from the pros, practical tips, and game-changing insights on how to succeed in sales, business, and life. This is the Nomadic Closer Podcast.
Cool. All right. Well, listen, let's jump into it. What I want to do is just want to introduce you to everyone. And what we're going to do, we're going to go deep. There's nothing planned here. But this whole podcast is all about becoming an entrepreneur, becoming the best version of yourself, and location freedom. But we're in Bali. So, bro, why are you in Bali? What brings you to Bali?
I was 18. My business just started becoming successful. And I was like, where do I go that's cheap, that I can meet other people? And it was Bali. I don't think there's any other place that's like as financially affordable, but at the same time, you're getting access to very high level entrepreneurs.
But let's talk about high level entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I've traveled the world. I've been to so many countries. I've never experienced community like in Bali.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you, what's your view on it?
Yeah, I guess so. I haven't really traveled that much. I wonder how Dubai is compared to here. Maybe Dubai, like, I obviously I don't know, but like with Bali, I feel like it's just age doesn't matter here, which is like it's a big thing because usually if you're back, say in Toronto or other places, and you have your age, I'm 21 right now. So when I was 18, I was coming here, I was meeting people who were 25, 40. One of my good friends is 45, and he's a super successful entrepreneur. And like I don't think they look at it with the age role, I guess, associated to it. And I think as well, everybody has a lot of common instincts, but I feel like that's the same thing with entrepreneurship, right? Like a lot of people have the same common values where they share, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, listen, I lived in Dubai for 10 years, right? And
I don't know how.
Networking in Dubai is great. You can meet some extremely amazing people, successful people. Like I met one of my mentors out there. But it's very hard to find a network of people. It's very hard to know where to go, who's real, who's not real. And that happens here in Bali as well, right?
Oh, 100%. I've seen so many frauds here.
Yeah. But the thing is what I've experienced here as well is you have all sorts. It's easy to meet people here. Like, you know, like where would you say the best place to actually network is in Bali?
It used to be Body Factory, shout out. Then other gyms came in, but Body Factory, that's where I met a lot of my good friends. I met just connections to another connections, and then this guy gave me a solution that changed my business.
Crazy.
Body Factory was great. Meet my girlfriend at Body Factory as well. Sadly, there's not any girls there anymore.
So why Body Factory? Like, where do you meet?
Sauna.
Why is it
sauna,
so
man.
Explain the sauna, because I talk to some of my people back home, and I'm like, bro, like I meet so many people in the sauna. They're like, in the fucking sauna. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, well, it's always packed. Now it's obviously different, but back in 2022, 2021, it's like everybody who's living there probably goes to Body Factory, and everybody who has money probably goes to Body Factory versus all other gyms. Yeah. Now it's kind of spread apart, but like if you're paying $400 a month for a gym, you probably have money. And I feel like, I don't know, if you're if you're willing to put yourself out there, and I think that's one big issue nowadays. Some people are not willing to have those in-person conversations that you don't know this person.
Right.
But if you're willing to have that, and Bali is quite open with it, you're able to meet so many high-level entrepreneurs, and it's perfect for it.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, it's like, okay, well, where can I go? What kind of social club can I join to meet people like me, or people who I can, you know, aspire to be, or find mentors? And it's, you know, in Dubai, you've got lots of different like members clubs. But that's the thing with places like Body Factory, right? It's like, okay, it's $400 a month to join, but you know that everyone's going there is an entrepreneur. They have, you know, an online product. They could possibly inspire you, help you, or guide you. And it's just this whole energy of exchanging business ideas and opportunities, right? But, you know, you moved to Bali when you was 18, super young. How did you manage to just have that location freedom at such a young age?
So I started my business when I was 17. It's drop shipping. It's the biggest young money kind of business. It's probably falling down cliff now, but drop shipping, I started that when I was 17, still in high school.
Just to cut you there, how much money did you invest when you first started?
So from selling a bit of weed and working at a grocery store, saved up about 5,000, 6,000 Canadian dollars. Okay. And then basically went all in. I told my parents like, hey, I'm going to take online school, which is a joke. And basically the entire year, which was COVID, graduated COVID 2019 and 2020. I basically started working online. I lost $4,000 in my last $1,000, $2,000.
Oh, damn.
I made my first winning product make money. Within 7 days, I was doing $1,000 net profit day. Then after a week, I got my whole PayPal ban. So think about a 17-year-old being like, fuck, bro, I'm making it out the hood, even though my place is not the hood, but I'm making it out, you know, like, and then shit gets banned. But anyways, that happened. And then met my best friend online, who I didn't know was my best friend. He was doing something called Pinterest ads. This was a big thing before.
Okay.
DM'd him, said, hey, like, can you teach me? He's like, hey, $300 for an hour. I'm like, $150, trying to negotiate, you know, for 30 minutes. So after the call, within about a week and a half, I was doing about $500 to $700 profit a day just from that call. And he told me, he's already had the fundamentals. He just had to tell me, okay, this is the platform. This is the type of advertisement you have to run. And then boom, I made it after there. And then basically that was January 2021. And then February 2021, I came out here. And then since then it was a bit rocky. And then I found Europe dropshipping in Facebook, end of December 2021. Then basically January to March, I went from 15 employees to 65 employees within that 3-month period. Wow. And then 2022.
So with the growth and that fast pace, how did you find the right team? Because I think people looking to scale, I think the hardest thing to do is find good staff, right? So
dumb it down, make it so retarded where it's like, you're not like, for example, I had 8 translators. All they did was use Google Translate, moved it from English to 8 different countries. That's the only job that they did. I had one job that they only wrote copy. And for the last 2 years, they're writing the copy, I was reviewing their copy. And they did over 200 products, my main copywriter. And then he became kind of a manager, and then we had 2 copywriters underneath them. And then he taught them through that way. And then the translators, you can have half a brain cell for that. And then video ads person, same thing. I was training this one person over the last 2 years before I scaled up. So I hired 6 video editors underneath her. And she was kind of reviewing over their work. Because at the end of the day, you have to get someone who at least is a B+ team player, and then they can review people underneath them. And then that's the only way to scale. But I basically segmented everything where it's like, they only do this, they only do this, they only do this. And I had a whole system process where it's like, if A is great, then if B and C is all green, then let's launch out the product. And I basically had that where then that year we did 500 products, 6 countries, custom funnels, custom images. So with 1 to 3 upsells, copywriting, everything. But I was able to do it because I had a system in place. And like, I think that's my big strong suits. Like number one, I think quite big and I want to systemize the shit out of everything. But like, or I'm just really good at systemizing. So that's why able to scale. And then, now we're kind of repivoting, going into more branding, going into something called cash and delivery in Eastern Europe.
Nice.
That's
crazy.
getting through. Yeah, so it's been definitely an interesting ride.
Crazy couple of years.
Yeah, fucking last year was crazy. Like going from like I was looking at my net worth. Like July 2021 was like 30K, 40K. Then going to July 2022 was like 1.3 million.
It's crazy. Right? It's crazy.
Yeah, it was just fucking nuts.
And do you think it all comes down to systematizing the whole business, or
100%,
or finding gaps in the market?
100%. No, but it was finding like the reason why I couldn't find success for the first 2 years was because I was focusing on markets that were so hard to get into.
Saturated.
So the thing is like if you're trying to instill creativity is the hardest thing to ever have in someone. It's the hardest thing to automate. But if you're able to, and that's what you seriously need in the USA type of market. But if you went down to a Europe market, for example, if I'm giving this examples, and I think I told you about this too, was USA, say it's $10 to acquire a customer. In Europe is about half of that. In Eastern Europe is about 6 times less than that, 5 times less than that. Obviously there's headaches at different points, but that's what keeps people out of that market, which means if you are able to systematize what you're doing, you don't need to do that at a crazy fucking level. You can do it at this level. And if you know you can always hit this level and this is the competition, you're going to be able to make a shit ton of money. And that's what happened last year with Europe, was that like cost to acquire was half as less as English countries. And I could basically move products from English countries to Europe. And that's what most people do.
And it's still all drop shipping.
That was last year. This year now I have stock and basically I do the same thing from USA to Europe, but now to Eastern Europe, because with Eastern Europe, one of the biggest things that dropshippers have problems with is actual payment processors. Get fucked left and right on it. I've had people where they lost $250,000 from PayPal. I had to sue PayPal, but it was only for $15K. They only gave me $5K back out of it. It's just, there's so much headaches with that. And with cash and delivery, it's like you remove that entire headache and it's less competitive. However, you have to hold stock. And that's the negative trade-off. But if you are confident in your skills and if you know how to brand, which I'm trying to pivot towards, you're able to have such good, consistent revenue that, okay, I could see Eastern Europe could be making money for the next 2 years versus Europe, which will, this year competition compared to last year is completely different.
Wow. So, I mean, it sounds like you've done this all by yourself, right? You found a great business partner, but at the end of the day, you got into this not knowing anything. Or did you go and find a mentor that taught you? Did you buy into a course? How did you get into it?
Yeah. So like I watched a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of courses, and that can give you the fundamental knowledge, but you need to have secret sauce. Secret sauce is what I can make it from this. If I can add 5% conversion rate optimization, and I know every single time I do this, it's gonna be 5% here, 5% there, 10% here, 10% there, I'm gonna kill you. And most of these guys that are offering these information out there, it's all plain and basic shit. And the thing is that you have to be networking with high level people where they're going to tell you, hey, okay, doing this is going to seriously 2x your business. Doing this is going to 10x your business. And like, that's why you need to have that network. So like really, I came out to the fundamental where, I thought in the USA, because it's such a big market, I could scale so high. But I realized it's so much more expensive, so much more harder. If I just moved to Europe, did the same thing I was doing back in 2019, I would already have a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
Easy, because I would have skipped, because in 2019, 2020, those basically 2 years going to 2021, I was going in the USA, which was so hard. I was taking my entire time putting it to there. I was doing basically relative the same effort that I'm doing now. Obviously now it's still better than what I was doing in 2019, but if I applied that to Europe, no one was doing this.
Crazy.
So like it would have been, obviously I would wish in the past, but it would have been so much easier. So that's how I look at it. Whereas like, just going to blue markets, that's my biggest tip.
So for people that are just starting out, people that have tried drop shipping but haven't really made it, would you recommend them to just keep on buying more courses, or is there something specific they should kind of look out for? Without giving away too much.
Don't follow the B-roll baddies. Anybody who does a lot of B-roll shit, flex and stuff, let's go
into that B-roll, because we're talking about this offline real quick. But what is a B-roll?
Like, I'm friends with people who do influencing. I'm friends with people who do other stuff like that. But if they only show B-roll, it's it's all bullshit. If they're showing like, if you've not done, I swear to God, if you've not done 8 figures in sales and e-commerce, you can teach some things, but you can't teach consistency and scale. That's the biggest thing. I would not follow off these people where they're offering that. If they're offering mentorships of $500 a month, bro, I'm not gonna call with you for an hour a week for $500.
It's not worth your time.
It's not worth my time. So like, how can that make sense if they're doing $200,000 a month? Like, how does that make sense? I think as well. So courses are good though. So I would do that. Number one would be networking with people and trying to give as much value as possible. If you're able to get those secret sauces and build up on, like, learn the fundamentals. How can you do conversion rate optimization? How can you split test ads? How can you get your basic ad frameworks? So it's really, how can you improve your raw skills? It's the first thing. How can you network with people where you can get the special secret sauce?
Well, let's touch base on networking, right? Because I think I'm in the situation I'm in now because I've networked. You know, I've met people that have been where I want to get. They've given me some great advice, and I've been able to scale because I've met the right people networking. Some people don't know how to network. Some people don't know where to go to network. So like, from your experience, if someone, let's just say, is an introvert, what would you say to that person? How could that person go and possibly network?
You should just quit business. Well, it's just the same thing as approaching a girl. It's like, you have to get used to it. Yeah. Like you're not, you got to get as comfortable as possible. And obviously COVID kind of fucked a lot of these people. And with drop shipping, a lot of people are not the type of salespeople that are like extrovert. Like, as a salesperson, you probably have to be extroverted a little bit, right? Yeah. So you're able to.
Actually, let's talk about that, right? Because a lot of people think, oh, you have to be an extrovert to actually be a good salesperson, right? Okay. And back in the day, it was all about, you know, getting excited, pushing the product, you know, being that person that can really inspire someone. It's changed now.
Okay.
Right? Because what I see is, if you're too much of an extrovert, you talk too much. And when you talk too much, you push your product too much, and you don't ask the right questions to help the prospect influence themselves to buy. So now what we're actually starting to see is introverts are actually making more sales than extroverts. And the reason why is because they listen a lot more. They know how to ask certain questions. They don't get too excited about the product. But what they do, they actually start to really go deep with people's why. You know, why solving this problem will allow you to do things that you can't possibly do now, right? So I'm really glad you brought that up, because if anyone who does want to go out and start networking, and if you are an introvert, all you need to know is how to start a conversation, how to ask certain questions. And it's really interesting, because I was exactly like that. I was like, yeah, I'm going to network. I'm going to be an extrovert. I'm going to talk about myself. But sometimes it's like, well, everyone likes talking about themselves. So, and this is what we teach our students as well. Especially, we have a chapter in our module which is called Building Your Tribe, and it's a whole like how to network, how to approach. And there's small little things how you can actually get the focus off of you and put them straight back onto the person of interest, and get them to be influenced to just start giving you some tips and tricks and information. Because people like talking about themselves.
Oh, 100%.
So if you start showing and paying attention that you are interested, people will give you a lot more than they expected to give you. And they're like, oh my God, I actually gave too much. But I gave too much because that person knew how to ask the right questions.
Yeah, I wonder as well, though, like how I kind of approach networking is like, number one, you have to be someone that is at least engaging, that's worth talking to. Because I've met people who are just, oh my God. I know a guy, he's my age. He's going to sell his company for $50 to $100 million, $200 million, like 21. Bro. It is the most boring thing I've ever done. And I'm usually the one who's just engaging, and I can do, but it's like they're not able to talk in some sort of way. So hopefully you're not that type of person, but in reality, it's like you have to at least be back and forth. You have to be at least funny, but at the same time, inquire, as you said. Inquire, go back and forth, see how you can add value to them too. But it can't be that boring. Like, right. And I think as well, one big thing is like, I don't want to hear, I swear to God, if you keep on asking me how much money you do, I don't want to hear that all the time. And I don't want to hear where, like, with networking, how I look at it, 80% is have fun, 20% is ask a bit about business, but you want to have that kind of exchange. Because you want to have a relationship, because I'm not like on the first interaction, I don't think you're going to give me that much value unless I really give you a lot of value from me. But if I don't have that much value, at least if I can be entertaining you in some sort of way and hopefully give you a little bit of value, but if I entertain you and I ask more of on the friend side of things, then when it comes down to business, I can ask you a question, you're going to give me a solid answer. That's how I look at it. But
exactly. Like I'll tell you what I like. Everyone likes a compliment, right? So whether you're in the gym, whether you're out, whether you're in the sauna, whatever it is, if you pay someone a small little compliment, they're like, "Oh, thanks, man. That was nice." And then and that's a nice way to break the ice, you know. But like, you said something very important. Don't ask someone how much they make straight away. Like,
I've had so many times like that.
If someone asks you that, it means that person's got no money. They have no game. They don't know what to talk about. And it's just too invasive at the beginning.
And in reality, like, you can kind of sniff if someone's legit or not. And you have just to ask the right questions if you are trying to look for someone who's a high level person. But I can understand Joel's a high level person. He's ran these multiple businesses. He has different things that are solid, tangible. I can figure that out through different means than asking how much money this man makes. Probably a lot, but I can figure it out. Yeah. Right? So it's... that's interesting. Yeah. I'm assuming, does that happen more in Dubai or in Bali?
The thing is, in Dubai, people ask like, what car do you drive? How many watches you have? Okay. You know, so it happens a lot in Dubai, a lot. It happens a bit less here, but it's interesting because we have that in our kind of sales script as well. It's like, how can you find out how much someone's making without actually asking the question?
That's smart.
And it's a really easy way. I mean, you know, it's like, you know, in an ideal world, like, let's just say in 12 months from now, like, how much do you realistically want to be making? I don't know, 10 grand a month. Okay, is that on top of what you're making now or in total? In total. Okay, and how close are you of making 10 grand a month? I'm about halfway. Okay, so you're making 5 grand, you know? So, thank you very much.
Smart. No, that makes sense. Interesting. I heard it's like a lot of just pre-qualifying questions and then move it to someone. Sales is fucking crazy. I talked to a guy who does... I can't give the names of it, but they do like $300,000 a day here in timeshares. Yeah. Fucking the most crazy sales process I've ever seen, but so ingenious.
It's mad, right? Once you know, you know.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I love it. Good stuff, bro. So I'm going to leave with one final question for you.
Sure.
If anyone who is thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or maybe flying over to Bali, but doesn't have the money for it, right? Where could someone start making money so they can save up and then start possibly traveling? Like, what's the first skill someone should learn?
Well, like, if you're a hot girl OnlyFans, it's the quickest way to money.
Straight up.
But if I'm joking, but if I feel like if you're a guy, I know sales can be a big one, but like, I don't know how quick of a turnaround with this. Ecom can be, but you're going to have money. Specifically, if you're getting into cash and delivery, you're going to have 5 to 10K. I would say definitely work a job and then learn a skill on the side. And then once you have a successful business, then come out here. You could come out here with some savings, but being back against the wall is like, just live at your parents' house, try to network as much as possible. But that's what I would say. And then once you have a solid business, either going to be e-com, drop shipping, if it's going to be closing, then come out here. But have a little bit of success, because it's not fun on a day-to-day basis where you're going to, like, on the back of your head. Like,
yeah, exactly. Going to the local food stores, getting Bali belly every day. It's just not fun, is it?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But
nice one.
Yeah, that's what I would say. But definitely come out here if you have something at least primarily going, or if you have some savings. I think that's one big thing. And try as much as possible to give value and do a lot of networking, because that's what I found with my side of things. If I ever stop networking or stop talking to people, I'm going to really stop advancing within my own career, as well as like stop being cool connections no matter what, right?
So
like,
true.
Like, I wouldn't be on this podcast if I didn't chat with Joel, say, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. So
there it is.
See.
Get out there, network, get used to being uncomfortable. Get used to trying to start a conversation and just making a complete mess of it and thinking, okay, that didn't work. Let me try something else. But always be networking. As they say, and I don't want to make it sound cheesy, but your network.
You're gonna sound cheesy.
Is your network. Your network is your net worth. There you go.
100%.
Good stuff, brother. Thanks for
thank
coming,
you.
man.
Appreciate it.
No worries, man.
See you around.
Guys, see you on the next one. Bye for now.
Peace.